the subject of the whole series. Didn't put it in, didn't think about it, but until a little bit later. But now I'm bringing it back, maybe a little longer, but hopefully it's got some good information to give you some power back in your relationships, or at least in trying to find what you think you want. Sexual attraction to someone is not the same as love. That's something probably could be an extension of part 2 of the original series, which is believe in beauty is an indication of good personal attributes. Just because a person looks good don't mean they are good. So don't just trust what you see with your eyes all the time. There's a tendency of us being as nice guys that I think once we figure it out, once we learn this, it'll help us to avoid a lot of the pains of rejection. I can remember a couple times where I felt like I was in love with somebody, with a girl. First time occurred when I was working in a drive-thru of a popular fast food restaurant. I thought she was probably one of the most beautiful women I had ever seen, but it was pretty much a interactive experience. So she would come to the drive-thru, talk to the speaker, hey, how you doing? Welcome to so-and-so. How may I help you? She ordered her thing, she come up to the window. I actually knew what her voice sounded like. I knew it was her when she was there. I didn't have to see her before I knew it was her. And she would drive up and all fuzzy and all that other good stuff, and you see somebody you really like. And the interesting thing about it is I never actually met her. To this day, I have no idea who she was. She didn't go to my school. But I didn't know if she was a liar. I didn't know if she was a thief. I didn't know if she was a murderer. Yet to me, I basically gave her such a high value, but it was for somebody I didn't even know anything about, had never even met. But that was interesting. Of course, hindsight is 20/20, but it's not necessarily a good thing to give somebody high value that you really don't know. The second situation is it was involving a girl I really liked. Of course, she was very attractive. She was smart. She was kind, as far as I knew. And but I didn't really know who she was. I know she was a foreign exchange student. But pretty sure you've always met somebody who's got an accent and nice and all this other good stuff. But later on, I found out she had been abused. She'd also turns out to be one of my good friends' girlfriend. So that really sucked. And I guess you can tell how that probably ended up. So at that point I thought she was a good person for a relationship, but I actually found out she was not. Really not. She turned out to be somebody that needed way more help than I could ever offer her. Plus, she was involved with somebody else who happened to be a good friend of mine. So based on that situation, I learned that women will lie, girls will lie, especially to protect themselves. So everything that shines ain't gold. I also learned that when two guys fight over somebody, the only person that really wins is the girl. She gets to pick whichever one she wants. Whether you wanted her or not, she's still going to pick between you or between you and somebody else. So it's not really even a good situation. I kind of feel like this is, I heard, as I was thinking about this, I remember hearing people say about the statement, bros over hoes. I wouldn't personally use that, but I think based on the situation I just told you about, that is the reason why people stay at, is because they've had situations where females come between two friends, and it's actually broken the friends up, and then later on the female is gone. And so the value of having a good friend is just really irreplaceable when you compare it to somebody that you may not be with. I mean, you could be going with that person for a week, it could be a year. You don't really know. But the thing is you definitely don't want to have a situation where it come between you and a good friend. You know, it'd have to be something really worth it for that. But hopefully you wouldn't have to lose a friend anyway over a female. You know, hopefully she would just join in the group. Not like sexually, but, you know, as a friend. Otherwise, that's pretty much fighting words right there. Fighting situation. You know, guys will fight over female. I almost did. So, in that situation, I was basically wrong about her being nice. She had the perception of being nice. She also had the perception of being truthful, which I found out that wasn't the case. But as a result, I ended up losing a friend, and I got my heart broken. All in probably spent about 10-20 minutes. So that was just horrible. So that showed me that actions actually speak louder than words, and you never really know somebody until you actually get into a relationship with them. I also learned that my feelings are not always an accurate reflection of reality. So reality occurs when what you feel actually matches with what you see. I would say that. Also, if they don't, I would trust a person's actions over a person's words. You know, because that's just more, I think that's more truthful in the long run. But even still, that may not necessarily be truthful in itself. You know, you may have someone who says, "Hey, I don't want to help you," but they still might come back and help you. You know what I mean? But not always the case. It can go either way. In that type of situation, also, I would say, if a person, an action, if they friend zone you, I would just take it as a sign and move on. That said, if you have, that's it, I'll say. Not the type of person necessarily go up there and just cold talk to the person. Well, I'll talk to a person. You know, get to know who they are, see what their vibe is or whatever. But I wouldn't recommend just going up and just saying, "Hey, you want to go out with me?" I don't think that's necessarily the coolest thing. And the reason being is because you don't really know that person at that time. So it's probably safer just to go up to the person, introduce yourself. "Hey, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. I saw you. You seem kind of like a cool person. What do you do?" You know, make small talk, talking about the weather, whatever you do. But try to get to know the person just on a kind of a, "Hey, how you doing" level. Not on the more, trying to go into the more intimate level. Now, after a while, if you figure out, you know, a couple weeks, couple interactions, if the person is still trying to interact with you, because if they're trying to get away from you while you're talking to them, don't even worry about them no more. But if they show an interest and, you know, you have a conversation that's flowing back and forth, and you still feel like your attraction is building as you get to know the person, then that may be a good indication to go ahead and just, you know, ask that person if they would like to take it a step further. If they say yes, woohoo! They say no, pull chalks, roll out. Don't even mess with that girl no more. But if once you make your intentions known, and if they decide they want to friend zone you at that point, you know, after you know each other a little bit, like I said before, just take that as an indication that she's not interested. If she says anything crazy, and I'll say crazy, that's just my my perception of it. But if she says something like, "Hey, you know what? You waited too long. If you had asked me earlier, then I might have been interested. I say, forget all that, Jay. Don't even worry about that. That's some of the stupidest mess I've ever heard. She may actually mean it, but to me, it's stupid. And the reason why, because if she really felt that you were worth her time, I'm pretty sure she would have waited on you. There's somebody around, same situation, that she would wait on. It's just not you. So let's just take it as, don't take it as you can take it as rejection, but like I said in previous videos, rejection is not really a bad thing. You want to have rejection, especially the people who are not a good fit for you. So don't take it as a bad thing. Just take it as, she's just not for you. All right, press on. Way better to press on with somebody that wants to be with you than somebody who really don't know what they want. Okay. All right. So if she does say that, I would question her integrity, because there are some females out there that are just manipulators. They don't necessarily like you, but they don't necessarily want to get rid of you either. Because to a degree, everybody likes some form of attention. And so you don't want to be the, how do you say, the host for a leech, because people can leech off of you. They give you just enough attention to keep you around, but not enough attention just to hold on to you. So it's kind of a bad situation any way it go. At that point in time, if she's already made it seem like she wants to friend zone you, you've already shot your shot. Guess what? Now you're in the power zone. Power zone is where if she wants you, she has to pursue you. There is no second chances. If she's not pursuing you, you've already pursued her. So don't be playing or chasing games with a female because of junk like that. That's just craziness. You let her run after you at that point in time. You go find somebody else. Better yet, better thing to do is to actually just start working on yourself. She want to be a friend with you. A friend is a 50-50 thing. 50-50. You buy lunch one day, she buy lunch the next day. There is no you buy lunch, 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 you buy lunch. That's just being used. All right. And if she's not doing anything in return, like taking you places, like say she got a car, you got money to buy food, you can have like, okay, you buy gas, she drive you around. As long as you have some type of 50-50 in a friendship, that is a friendship. A friendship shouldn't be one-sided, where it could be guys, friends, or guy, girlfriend, however you want to say it. But it shouldn't be at one person gives more than the other person. It should be equal. They should be there for you. You should be there for them. That's a friendship. See. But definitely move on. One of the issues with holding on to hope for a particular relationship is that it takes your energy. It takes energy away from you doing the things you need to do to be a better you. If you're an A student, if you got heartbreak, that's not a good situation to be in. So, like in the other video I was saying, guard your heart. Guarding your heart is one of the best things that you could ever do. You don't ever want to put yourself in a situation where a female, or anybody really, can hurt you. And females have a power that they really don't, they use it, but they don't realize they have it. But some females, they realize they have it and they use it. So you got to know what type of female you're dealing with too. But some of them just are oblivious to the power they have, and they can be easily manipulated, just like you can be easily manipulated. If you have a guy that's really attractive and really suave, you got that swag thing going on, you know, tall, whatever. If he's what women want, he can have a certain degree of power, not power necessarily physically, but we'll say more like influence. Like some people, like you can actually see a female that she's just all that in a bag of chips, and she might say something, you might be like, oh my god, okay. Whatever she say, you're almost like, okay. She says, hey, I want you to cut your wrist, you'd be like, okay. That's not what something you should do, but it could be to the point she could actually ask you to do things that hurt you. Just like a really nice looking guy, if he's got bad intentions, can ask her to do things that'll hurt her, and that's not the type of relationship you want to be in. Now, if it's equal in that, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because they're feeding off each other. You know what I mean? It's balance. But any other thing is not cool, because you have a power over somebody else that they don't necessarily have a really good defense for. So I don't want you to be defenseless in relationships, which is the purpose of this whole series. Let's see. But yes, heartbreak, relationships that are draining, actually can take you off the focus of your schooling. It could be your job. It could be pressing forward. And that's just not good for you. A good indication of a good woman, I would say, would be somebody who actually builds you up. One, they gotta build you up with what they say. Two, they gotta believe in you. If they believe in you and that you can do your dream, and they're actually balanced with you, where they're not taking, and if you give something, they give something back. Okay, and you need to let them give something back. Okay, you don't want to have an unbalanced relationship. Okay, and that's not to say it's got to be like totally 50-50 in everything, but you should not feel like you're giving more than the other person is. You should not feel burdened. If anything, you should feel like they're pushing you up. Like if they weren't there, you wouldn't be doing as good as you're doing. Okay, but at the same time, you should be doing as good as you're doing. She would just make you just like a force multiplier. It's kind of like you have a regular light, but if you focus that light into a laser beam, you can cut stuff. You know what I'm saying? That light becomes more powerful. She should make you more powerful, and likewise, you should make her more powerful. And when y'all come together, y'all should just be straight dynamite in all situations. But if she breaks your heart, she drains you, not good. If she multiplies you, good. All right. Also, I'd say beware of women that settle. And women that settle, I would say actions speak louder than words again. But this is a woman or a person, well, I'll say a woman since we're talking about women. It's and I would say if you have the feeling like somebody is with you out of desperation or as a last result, they're with you. That's a person that's settling. A woman that plays with the players, the pretty boys, the popular guys, and never looks your way. But then once they stop paying attention to her, she starts paying attention to you, she is settling. All right. So if you're in a situation like that, that is not the female you want to be with. All right. She will, if they stop paying attention to her, she will start paying attention to you because you have her attention. If that makes sense. I said that right. Because you're seeking after her, she's like, I have attention. but you're not the person she really wants attention from. She wants attention from the pretty boy, the player, the guy that's up here, the six-figure guy. You are just what she can get at that point in time. She may have a kid, she may not be in her best shape or whatever. For whatever reason, she has lost the attention of those guys, but now she's with you. The problem is that somebody who settles is always looking for the person that they really, really want. So if she settled for you, y'all in a relationship and everything, all is good, but all of a sudden that pretty boy, that six-figure dude, the 6-foot guy, come around and start giving her attention, she's gonna run just like that. She's out, because that is really what she wants. But you are what she can get at that time, and she will always go to that person because that is really what she wants. That's really what she wants. In my opinion, this is because some females gauge their value based on the guy they can get, rather than the guy that actually loves them for who they are. Now, what you should do is the person that loves you, you should give them more value, even if it's a friend. But if they love you as a person, that should be the person that you want to be with, if that's the person you actually like. It ain't, you can love somebody and them not love you. You know what I mean? But it's always safer for you to be with somebody that loves you than to be with somebody who really don't love you for you. Okay, but that's just getting a little more complicated. So don't be with a woman that settles for you. If she's always looking to the other guy, you hear your friends say she's looking to the other guy, cut her out, leave her alone. She's not the person you want to be playing around with, because she thinks she knows what you want. She thinks that's what she's supposed to have, but probably there could be whatever reason behind it, but she's not for you. Just let her go. Let her go about her business. You take care of yours. Some ways to confirm your feelings are correct. I would say ask your friends. Sometimes your friends can see things that you can't see because you're all googly eyed and all this stuff. Oh, she's so beautiful. Yay! She looked at me. Yay! They're like, no, dude, she crazy. Leave her alone. The second I would say is, if possible, depending on where you are in the grand scheme of things, I would ask one of her friends. Preferably one of the friends that's we'll say not the most popular friend. The one that's actually the nicest one out of the bunch, the cool one. The one you feel comfortable with asking stuff, I would talk to her. Because depending on what group of females you're talking to, I think there's always usually somebody who's actually very nice, very honest in a particular group. Now you can have a whole group of females that's honest, and that's cool, but not all the time. But always find the one that you feel most comfortable with, and just ask her. And I'm sure she might not want to betray her friend, you know what I mean? But she might actually like you herself. But ask her and say, hey, you think she is somebody I should go out? Would you go out with her if you were me? If she says no, cut your losses, take off. Alright, another thing I would say is, how does she treat people who are like you? If you're on a certain level, does she treat the people like you the same? If not, you might want to consider rolling out. Does the woman treat you like a king, or does she treat you like a bank? Does she treat you like a friend that always listens but never talks? So if you have something to say, she's never got time. Are you just a guy that fixes stuff for free? She don't pay you anything or give you anything, make you lunch, buy you lunch, or whatever for helping her out. Does that person accept you for who you are? Or are they always telling you, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? They're always complaining about something about you. They don't accept you. Do they have an excuse for not liking you? If that's the case, pull out, roll over. All right, but the better thing to do is just use a combination of all those things to give you the most accurate answer possible about whether your feelings are true or not. But in summary, I say again, don't confuse attraction with love. They are two different things. They are not the same. Also, beauty is not an indicator of a good person. One last thing is I'll say that attraction is really only the first part of a relationship. Attraction is what brings you to a person. The person is what actually is going to keep you there. So I would see a relationship starting, hey, you look good. You smell good. You know, you got potential. You got my eye. But to get a person's heart, is she nice? Does she like you? Does she build you up? You know what I mean? Attraction is either going to, attraction physically is going to be in a distance, but once you meet the person, either your attraction is going to go up for the person or it's going to go down depending on that person. For whatever reason, can I have bad breath? They could actually like the same things you like. So attraction would go up, bad breath it would go down. They could like a friend of yours. You know, that's definitely cut that one off. Ain't got time for that, Jeff. But we'll finish out with that. But beauty is not an indication of love. It is not attraction is not an indication of love. So just because you look at somebody and they look like, you know, an angel in the sky and stuff like that, that does not mean you love the person. You actually have to get to know the person, check their actions, and then those things actually build love. And then you might actually find you may love the person this much. And if you find out that it can only go this far instead of this far, she ain't for you. Say, hey, thanks, it was fun, we can be friends. Be friends on her. And then you roll out. You know, look for somebody who's going to be a 10 as opposed to a 6. And a 10 doesn't necessarily mean that she looks like she's like, you know, everybody's 10. You know, some people are just universally beautiful to everybody. But I'm talking about the people that she's a 10 for you. 10 for you in looks, 10 for you in personality, 10 for you in direction. If she wants to live in California, but you want to live in Florida, you probably don't want to be with her.